This is the story of Daniel, a young man who faced repeated failures in school, in business, and even in relationships. But instead of being destroyed by them, he learned that failure is not the end. It's the beginning of wisdom. Because every loss hides a lesson, and only those who fail forward ever rise to true greatness. Welcoming you to Echoing Tales. Daniel sat on the cold bench outside the examination hall. He stared at the red marks on his paper, another failed written in bold ink. It wasn't his first time. In fact, it was the third. How can I keep failing when I've tried everything? He felt the weight of disappointment pressing down like a stone on his chest. His friends celebrated their results while he quietly walked home, feeling smaller than his own shadow. His mother noticed his sadness. "You look tired, my son. What happened?" "I failed again, Mum. Maybe I'm just not meant for this." She sat beside him, took his hand, and said softly, "You are not a failure, Daniel. You just haven't learned your lesson yet. Every loss hides a lesson. Find it, and you'll never lose again." Her words felt like medicine, gentle, but powerful. The next morning, Daniel looked at his failed paper again. Instead of tearing it apart, he began to study his mistakes. He realized he never managed his time properly. He studied hard, but not smart. He memorized, but didn't understand. He stopped blaming himself and started learning from himself. And that was the day he stopped failing backward and began to fail forward. Daniel finally graduated, not as the best student, but as the most changed one. He gave a short speech that day. "I've failed more times than I can count, but each failure taught me something success never could: humility, patience, and courage. If I had succeeded too early, I would never have grown this deep." After graduation, Daniel started a small design business. He invested everything he had and lost it all in 6 months. He was back to zero. But this time, he didn't cry. He wrote in his journal, "Lesson 1. I trusted people I hadn't VT tested. Lesson 2. I spent more on ego than on essentials. Lesson 3. Failure is feedback, not final." He treated failure like a teacher, not an enemy. And slowly his mindset transformed. Daniel took another shot, smaller, smarter, stronger. He worked long nights, learned marketing, read business books, and studied customer behavior. Each time he failed, he asked, "What is this failure trying to teach me?" And with each lesson learned, his foundation grew deeper. He was no longer afraid of falling, because he knew how to rise. Daniel was now an invited speaker at a national business conference. The same young man who once failed in college now stood before hundreds of entrepreneurs. Most people run from failure. But failure is not a wall. It's a mirror. It shows you who you are, where you're weak, and what you must strengthen. Every loss hides a lesson, and every lesson builds a winner. The audience was silent, deeply moved. They didn't just hear his words, they felt them. A young attendee approached him, tears in her eyes. "Sir, I've failed my exams 3 times. Maybe I'm not meant to succeed." Daniel smiled gently and said, "Don't give up. You're closer than you think. Failure doesn't mean stop. It means study. Every failure is a class in the school of greatness. Failure is not your enemy. It's your instructor. Each setback teaches what success cannot. Every no refines your yes. Every fall strengthens your legs for the climb. Those who fear failure stay average. Those who learn from it become unstoppable. The truth is simple. You can't win without losing, and you can't grow without falling. Fail forward. Learn faster. Rise stronger. Because every loss hides a lesson, and failing forward builds winners. When life knocks you down, don't stay there. Ask, "What is this failure trying to teach me?" Then get up and move again. Wiser, braver, and better. Because success is not built by avoiding failure. It's built by learning from it.